of the month again. I read 21 books this month because I was sick and because I don't have a life. So yeah, and I DNF'd too. So let's go through all the books I read and let me tell you what I like and what I did not like. Started the month off so strong with Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. I loved this book. This was 5 stars. Then I read Kingdom of the Wicked. This was okay-ish. I gave it 3 stars. Cultish. Loved this book. This was 5 stars. Yes. Kingdom of the Cursed. This was okay. It was predictable to me, but it was a little better than the first book. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Reckless Girls. I was not seeing that twist coming. This was good. 4 stars. Love and Other Disasters. I was not expecting to like this book as much as I did. It was really good. 4 stars. All Your Perfects. This book broke me in the epilogue. I have so many videos talking about how this book broke me. It was beautiful, amazing, loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. The Shadow Between Us. This was my first book in my 12 book challenge for January. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I finally read The Cruel Prince. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. The world building was interesting and I kind of liked some of the characters in the first book and I was really excited to see what would happen next. Josh and Gemma Make a Baby. This was an arc that I got. I loved this book so much. This is my favorite rom-com that I have read in a long time. I gave this 5 stars. Finding Perfect. This book broke me. It was beautiful. 5 stars. The Wicked King. This book was so meh. I gave it 3 stars. The Queen of Nothing. I liked how this story wrapped up. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. The first book that I DNF'd this month, Grown Up Pose. I thought I was going to love this book because I do a lot of yoga and I teach yoga, and so I was very hopeful for this, but it just fell really flat, so I DNF'd it. Reminders of Him was my favorite book of the month. I cannot talk about this book well without crying still. This book hit me so hard for a lot of different reasons. I loved it so much. Colleen Hoover went into my soul and wrote this book for me. This is 5 out of 5 billion stars. How to Be an Anti-Racist. I really enjoyed this book also. I gave it 4 stars. The Maid. Oh, I loved this book so much. It is like the coziest mystery I have ever read. I don't even know how else to describe it except it is like a super cozy mystery. I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I DNF'd The Wedding Date. I got about 60% through this book, I think, and I don't know. I just wasn't liking the writing style or something. It was just so meh. So yeah, DNF'd it. Reread ACOTAR. Still love this book so much. 5 stars. From Luke Off with Love. This book was okay. I wanted more. I ended up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Court of Mist and Fury. This book hits. It's awesome. 5 stars, of course. Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was so good. I read it in about an hour. I loved the Daisy Jones and McReeva references. I gave this 4 stars.
So, just got done reading this. I did cry for a minute there at the end. Y'all had me fooled for a second there. The beginning, I really didn't like, because of her sisters. It's just they were so, I don't know how to say it. And her dad too, like, seriously, it's just the way they were. At first, I didn't like Tamlin, okay, or Lucian, because they just seemed like they were just being I guess, and being like a-holes, I guess. But like as it slowly like developed, like kept going in the story, I kind of grew fond of them, like, as in I kind of liked them, okay? I was shocked, because I did want Farah and Tamlin to be together. Yes, that happens. But as it kept going, I'm like, okay, why is her one sister still being when he shipped her back home? Like, I don't understand why he did when he knew about it and she could have helped like a long time ago. Like, he really made me mad at that point. By the ending, because I'm just clipping it for my review because like I don't want, you have to read it if you didn't read it. Definitely recommend it. 10 out of 10. The ending Made me freaking cry, but also made me mad, but then also made me like very happy. So it was like 3 emotions in one. Sarah really did a good job on this. I am about to read the next one. But man, I hated some characters in here. I'm just gonna say that. But I hope that one is really, really dead. The one woman is really, really dead, because I'm gonna be mad if she comes back somehow, some way. But I have a feeling she is, because the dang thing that was stolen. But, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. And that's my review on A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. You did good on this book. Not gonna lie. Second book starting now. I cannot put this down, by the way. 10 out of 10. Definitely recommended if you hadn't done so. Bye, guys. See you on the next review on the second one of this. Bye.
Let's talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses, the super hyped up Sarah J. Maas book. Starting out, I am an avid reader. I read on average 4 books a month, a lot of times more, sometimes less, so average. And I was very skeptical starting this book. Very much reads like a young adult novel, but it is not one. It has pretty explicit content. It has a very like easy narrator voice, which makes it feel a little bit more young adult. If you are someone who really enjoys fantasy, if you enjoy world building, but not like Tolkien world building, like world building light, if you enjoy a good romance, this is definitely a good book for you. It took me a little bit to get into, probably, I give books at least 100 pages, so I probably had to give this a good 50, 60 pages for it to really start picking up. But by the time I was done with it, I had to get the next book. The way Sarah J. Maas writes, probably the last quarter of a book, you can't put it down and you have to know what happens next. I've heard a lot of people say the Beauty and Beast retelling, which I didn't really get that until it was told to me, so it's not very explicit in that. It definitely has some of the tropes, but I don't think it's a retelling at all. I just think it has some similar characteristics. I absolutely recommend it. It's super fast read. I read it within a couple days, and it is so fun, and just see what the hype is about.
Hi friends, today we're going to be reviewing A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now, this was my first Sarah J. Maas book ever, and also my first ever fantasy. But honestly, I cannot recommend her enough. Like, once you actually read one of her books, she just has a way with words that makes you feel like you're a character in the book, and that, you know, these characters are actually your friends, and they're part of your life, really. Because even after reading this, I think about these characters all the time, every day. Honestly, I've read this book probably like 7 times since I bought it already, and I can't recommend enough. This is my favorite series from her. It's just amazing. She just ticks all the boxes. It has romance, it has fantasy, it has action, it has everything you could possibly want in a book. So it's such a quick read. It's not even that long of a book. It's maybe like 400 something pages. Something that you haven't read before. It's something that she does really well. And she just has a way with words that really entices you in her book and makes you feel like you're in it, you know? And I definitely recommend this author. She's an auto buy for me. I pre-order her books a month ahead of time. So I definitely say, if you're having doubts, give this book a try.
A Court of Thorns and Roses, that was a really good book. A lot of people have left good reviews for this. I mean, if you just look at the listing, there are a ton of reviews and they are great. So I thought I would read it and see what it's about. It kind of falls into the romance category, And it certainly is, but it's not like your typical steamy romance book. It's got a really good, complex plot. It has a lot of suspense. And there is, of course, the fantasy component. It takes place in the past, like way back in the past, hundreds of years ago. But it doesn't, it's got like spirits and demons and different types of beings and characters, and that makes it really, really good. It's so well written when it comes to that stuff, and when it comes to the human girl's interaction with that world. But it is about a girl who is a fierce, independent huntress taking care of her family in the beginning, and then she, through different scenarios, ends up in the fairy world, in the spring world part of the fairy world. And she has a captor, but he is he's very good, even though he took her captive for a reason that has to do with, a treaty between humans and fairies. He still treats her very well. And in the beginning, she hates it, and she really grows into a new person and grows to love this new world. But it really gets into his role as a high lord of that world, his interaction with her, their story about falling in love and sacrificing things for each other. And there's just a ton of danger and a ton of suspense and a ton of different characters. And it leads you right up. It does have, I'm not going to tell you what kind of ending it has, because there is a book 2, and it segues really well into that. But I loved this book. I could hardly put it down. And it was so nice and refreshing to read something that has such a good story. The story is really, what it is that keeps you going, and not just the steamy romance. So I highly recommend it, and I'm getting ready. I just finished it. I'm getting ready to jump right into book 2. So we'll see.
If he can do it, you can do it.
I'll never be that good.
Listen, you'll get used to it. I stand all day. Now I've got the best cats in the family besides Jane.
It's not just the standing, Linda. I thought it was thinking of protective of art. Gardeners and artists. People who lick sculptures.
People lick sculptures?
Of course they do. Grow up, Linda.
Oh.
Okay, I have to say, this book and the entire series have truly changed my life. While opinions on this series can vary, let me tell you, if you love intricate character development, captivating worlds, and spicy romance, A Kotar is a must-read. The female leads are incredible, and their journeys are mesmerizing. I found myself completely lost in their worlds, eagerly flipping pages. If you're feeling adrift and need an escape into a fantastical realm, this book is your ticket. Whether you're a seasoned fantasy reader or just dipping your toes into the genre, the mix of intimate, romantic scenes and immersive storytelling will hook you from the start. A Kotar is worth every moment spent on its pages. Happy reading!